everybody want the full Saturday party.
Yo, welcome to the AMF Show.
Now everybody want the full Saturday party.
On Bars and Hoops Radio.
Now everybody want the full Saturday party.
Yo, every Thursday night, without a
Now
doubt,
everybody want the full Saturday party.
with our special guests, so check us out. Peace, everybody. Welcome to the AMF Show. I'm one of your hosts, Big Ra, one half of the Almighty Force Brothers. I'm here with the street ball legend, my man,
Kev Young.
All right, and tonight we have legendary in the building. We have the coach of the Globetrotters. We have a scout for the New York Knicks. All right, we have the CEO of Prime Time in the building. Introduce yourself, my brother.
After that introduction, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Definitely can't say it with the enthusiasm that you did. The name is James Ryans, and I like to say that I'm from Jamaica, New York, because this is my first landing spot when I got off that Trailways bus coming from South Carolina and Augusta, Georgia, coming from high school. So I am a New York transplant.
Okay,
sure. And I'm glad to glad that New York accepted me and that I made this my home for the last 60 years of my life.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into James Ryan's story, which is legendary. All right. Peace, Tisha. All right. Peace, Town Mama. All right. And she's saying, Mr. James, welcome. All right. The Developmental League is going to start. The registration for the Developmental League is going to start on September 20th. It's going to be the 20th, the 27th, and October 4th from 1 to 5 at middle school 226. Taking children from pre-K, up to middle school. All right. So the Developmental League, if you're interested, go over to middle school 226, 121 Rockaway Boulevard.
Ryan, no.
All right.
Wilcox, man. You outside the door, Wilcox.
Hey, Wilcox want to check in. All right. Okay. On September 27th, the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition is going to do a walk at Belmont Lake State Park out in North Babylon. My daughter is a cancer survivor, so we're going to join Jatay's team and do the walk over in Belmont State Lake Park on September 27th. All right.
Will Cox is here.
Okay. You hear Cox? Oh, all right. All right. So James Ryan,
yes, sir.
If you could describe yourself in one word, like what would the one word be and why?
We all like to think of ourselves as being successful.
Okay.
Whether that's just in your own imagination or if other people feel the same way. But I feel that I'm just a long lifer.
Okay.
I've been here for a long time.
Okay.
And so that if I had to describe myself, I'd say I'm a long lifer.
Okay. So this is called the AMF Show, right?
Yes.
And when me and Kev started doing it, they called it the Legend Edition. All right. I get that. You legendary. I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and he was like, I'm surprised y'all didn't have James on when y'all first started doing it. And I said, well, there was some reasons why we didn't have him on right away. We only been doing it for a year. Me and Kev, my son started it 2 years ago. So we started last year. You was one of the first people that came to mind, but you was going through some things during that time. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yes, I have no problem talking about anything really.
Okay.
My life is open book.
Okay.
Exactly a year ago, I went through some I had medical problems, and I was hospitalized. My heart stopped twice. I was in a coma for 5 days, 6 days. I've developed blood clots that the embolism was so large in my lungs that I'm lucky to be here. So when you all started the show, obviously I wasn't in the health,
right?
I hadn't health good enough to come. Right. And so I was down on my back with needles stuck all in me and IVs.
Right.
So otherwise, I'm sure had I been invited, I would have been here. But a year ago, I didn't know I wasn't able to do that.
Right. But we glad that you're here now, and we glad that you survived everything that you went through. All right.
It makes two of us.
Yeah. And so we're gonna get away from that. We're gonna talk about all the great things, all the great things you did. Well, we used to just go play basketball together. Me, you, remember Kev, Glenn McMillan, Pete Edwards. Yeah, we should just go play ball together.
Wilcox.
Everybody just play ball together. All right. Jamel Ryan's on the check-in. Violet Williams.
Well, my memory of James is coaching those ISA teams.
Okay.
Mid-70s.
Yes.
Yeah, mid-70s.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, this man goes back to the 70s, fellas. Do y'all understand that?
Right.
These people you hear about today learned from that man.
Right.
So
let's talk about ISA in the 70s.
Yeah. I started my own basketball team in 1966.
Oh, okay.
I was still in college at the time. And so during the summers, I started playing with my brothers, Leroy Rhines, Allen Rhines, Kenny Thompson, Mike Pettis, other guys from around Jamaica. And so we were the Jamaica High Risers or something they were called. And but we were okay, but they wasn't focused only on winning. Larry Mason and a few other guys on the team, so they wanted to shoot their jump shots when we should be driving to the basket, and then we started playing it in Lincoln Park.
Okay.
And the young man, I forget his last name, but Pat and another guy was running the league. And that was in
the
late 60s.
Yeah.
Late 60s.
I remember my brother, he played for the Rockaway Rockets team.
Yeah, when they had Mel Utley from Rockaway, they had a team, Southside, with all of the Edwards brothers. They were playing.
All the older Edwards.
Yes. At that time, Glenn McMillan and Donnie McMillan was playing with the Southside team. So we had our own
Glenn
team.
McMillan.
And so you had to be physical in order to win. And my brothers didn't play that way.
Right.
And so we would win some games, but we wasn't going to be the champion. Now, I don't think I'm a selfish person. I don't have that's not my character or personality. But when it comes to basketball, I'm selfish. I'm selfish in that I want to win and I demand it. So I had to start my own team because if I'm going to do this, I'm going to win. So that's why I started my own. That was in 66.
All right.
And then we started playing at IS8 later on. We was playing in the YMCA League, Long Island City YMCA League, going down to Brooklyn, playing in leagues there. And I did Nassau County, I did Hempstead, and all. And but I wanted to be a little bigger than that.
Roosevelt Road Runners.
So when did the road runners start?
I moved to Roosevelt, Long Island from Jamaica, so I named my team. I was Road Runners, and I changed to Roosevelt Road Runners.
Oh, okay.
And then
okay.
I was right there by Roosevelt Park. Well, actually, they changed the name to Julius Irving Park later on.
Yeah. Okay.
And I happened to live down the street from the park, but I named it Roosevelt Road Runners. We started playing at IS8, and I was fortunate later on to happen to run into a guy by the name of Jocko, Greg Jackson.
From Brownsville. Yeah. Rest in peace, Jocko.
Yes, Jocko. Now, what happened was, the way it all happened is I had graduated from St. John's by that time, and I started back playing basketball with a big brace on my knee. But I was playing with Billy Paultz and all of the guys from St. John's.
Okay.
Because they called me and asked me to come and play with them because they were playing against a team from Brooklyn. And if I had known it was Jocko and Fly, I wouldn't have come. I would not have shown up. Okay. They wanted somebody to come out there and wrestle with Jocko.
Okay.
And I came in 74. I didn't know Jocko. He had just got drafted by the Knicks. This was in summer of 1974. And I had ended up trying to defend Jocko.
Okay.
When he was giving me the business, I started. What you do when you can't beat him, you fight him. So I started a ruckus with him. I didn't win that either,
Okay.
But that's how I met Jocko. A
Okay.
week later, he was at IS8 playing with me.
Okay.
And when Jocko comes, Fly Williams came.
Okay.
World B. Free came. He was
Okay.
Lloyd. He was Lloyd B. Free.
Lloyd
at that
Free
time.
back
He
then.
changed the name.
I Lloyd. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But then I also had Ray Branch and all these other guys.
Ray Branch, big Ray Branch, right?
Glenn McMillan, Donnie McMillan, and all they.
Okay, I didn't know that all of them played for you. I know Ray Branch played for you.
Oh yeah, Glenn.
But I didn't know.
Yeah, all of them. That was
Okay.
That was some
And Jones
games we used to go to at IS8.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we were like 11 or 12 years old or something, man.
Yeah, it was a place that became the place to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
IS8 became the place to be. It was a party. It wasn't just a basketball event.
It was.
Okay.
Everybody doing their thing, and they were betting on every game.
Okay.
So then, but at that time I was involved in a pharmacy up in the Bronx also, and so I couldn't make all them games unless Rudy Lee, who ran the league, he was able to give me all Monday games. On Mondays you couldn't get in the gym. You could not get in the gym.
Yeah.
We would come to the games, gentlemen, and there was no room for us to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Rudy Lee had to go and
it was
separate
crowded,
people just to get so we could sit. Now because Larry McNeil started playing.
Okay.
That's not it. That's not the end of it. World Be Free started bringing Darryl Dawkins with him.
Okay.
And Darryl Dawkins came in there, and at the time he was Chocolate Thunder. He would stand and dunk the ball without jumping, things like that.
Okay.
Right? And so it became an extravaganza pretty much.
Okay.
Now Southside part of Jamaica, that's where IS8 is located. They wasn't willing to let people come in there and just take over their gym.
Right.
So, especially guys from Brooklyn.
Right.
And so it became battle tested, and rivalry. But then every year it seemed that but every year we come to the championship game, the Roadrunners would end up playing Al Skinner and his team, Nassau. The name of their team was Nassau.
Okay.
So they had NBA players,
right.
Al Skinner and the big guy, the University of Georgia, Tim Bassett.
Yeah, Tim Bassett.
And they had John Irving from Hofstra who played Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
They had all these.
Brian did.
They had Henry Hollingsworth.
Okay.
And all of them. They had
John Williamson came.
John Williamson came.
Yeah, he came.
He was
with
there
them.
one time.
He came with them. He came to play with them one game.
He was shooting half court shots and shit.
Yeah.
Word.
But he was shooting from one half, and Fly Williams was shooting on our team from the other half.
Yeah.
And so it became the Nassau and Roadrunners championship every year.
Okay.
And we got fortunate to beat them every year.
Okay.
But I shouldn't say beat them. We won the game. We didn't beat them. We won the game.
Right.
So with sports, if you get 1 point more than the other team in the game, you win. But it's not like you always won. You got the credit for it. So for about 9 years or something, 8 years, it was just a battle.
Man, it was a beautiful thing, man. I think that's why I love basketball today, because of them damn games.
Yeah,
man. But, Kevin, I have to say I agree with you.
Yeah.
IS8 propelled me as a person, as a coach, as a personality in basketball, because it was the best league around at the time.
Okay.
And now, if you go up to Rucker Park, which we did also during that same time, because we would go to Rucker Park and play on the weekends, and weeknights we play at IS8.
Okay.
And then I started going down to the Jersey Shore League in the week.
Okay.
And then I started going to Philadelphia, playing in the Baker League, playing in all these leagues at the same time.
Okay.
And so when you do things like that, at that level, names develop,
right?
Titles erupt,
right?
Come about. I was fortunate to know a lot of people, to meet a lot of players,
right?
And if you treat people halfway right, you're okay. When you
Yeah.
treat them 100% right, there's no thing.
Okay.
And that's how we.
So the Roadrunners definitely gave you in in our hood definitely gave you a name.
Yes.
Gave you legendary status. You was like the team that everybody wanted to
beat.
Yeah, wanted to beat, wanted to
play
emulate
for.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers wanted to play for.
All right.
And you're seeing back in those days, we didn't have the digital components that we have now.
Right.
So there was no.
We'd probably be rich today.
Yeah,
right.
No question.
With all them
Yeah.
damn likes.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
We was talking about that the other night.
Stephen Furtado, he said real Queens OG. Think he ran the Knicks Farm G League. So let's talk about how you went from doing what you just said, running like really a street ball team, traveling, Jersey, Philly, just
I'm sorry to interrupt, bro, but from Roosevelt to
basketball.
Was it Roosevelt Prime Time or something?
Roosevelt Roadrunners to Prime
Time.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of years it was just Prime Time.
Right.
First I was the Roadrunners, and then I moved up to Long Island. So Roosevelt Roadrunners. That was in 1966. 1987. 11 years later, actually 21 years later, time went fast. 1987, playing down at West 4th Street, I was watching television one day, and the news, like 6 o'clock news, they started calling it primetime news. I like that word. So at that time, Deion Sanders wasn't Deion Sanders.
Right.
I love the word. I like that name primetime because it was a catchy phrase,
Right.
A catchy title. So I changed the name. All of a sudden, from Roadrunners, I started using the name primetime.
Right.
I tried to trademark the word, but I couldn't get a trademark on it because you can't trademark that name.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So other people, including Deion Sanders, stopped saying primetime.
Right.
I think he I don't know how he saw it, but he did.
Right.
But I couldn't be mad because he is a primetime personality also,
Right.
I happened to be first, but he was right there too. He and other people.
Right.
And so it just evolved. But like most people in life, my life has been my life has come in as running phases and then in stages, and in cycles. I had teams where I had my point guard, but every year I make sure I got a good point guard, a good big man in the middle. So if you got a point guard and a big man in the middle, I mean, you got your middle covered.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is take care of your wings.
Right.
Wing players don't always tend to be physical. Every now and then you find one.
Right.
But most of the time they are guys that can dribble and dunk and shoot jump shots, Now, but if they get past them, now you got Darryl Dawkins back there. But we had Ray Branch back there.
Oh, yeah. We had Ray Branch, baby.
Ray Branch.
Ray
Branch.
Branch.
You had a big team. I used to come to some of the games at West 4th. Y'all had Anthony Mason.
Later on.
Yeah, rest in peace, Anthony Mason.
Later on, Anthony Mason.
Yeah.
But see, Larry McNeil and all the other big 6'10", tall 6'10" guys, when I had the Roadrunners and then later on Primetime, I changed the name. People come to you because they want to play because they like that name.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be a part of a winner, right?
Right.
But see, I was not going to sit Ray Branch on the bench when other guys from the NBA would come.
Right.
I have to find a way to play them with him.
Okay.
Now they could score the points and they can have the ball. Ray didn't necessarily care about that.
Right.
He wanted to hit somebody.
Right.
And if
Ray was a big dude.
Yeah,
Ray was a big dude.
Just as mean as he was big. and if I don't put him in the game, he gonna hit me too. He wasn't selective on who he'll fight. He'd fight anybody.
Right.
As Kevin can tell you, we were over in New Jersey in the Ron Nellis League.
Okay.
And,
He handled his business.
He was handling his business. So I'm fortunate, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who calls themselves a coach, who titles themselves as a coach, and if you won games, many more games than you lost, won championships all over the country, all around the country, and then we went overseas at Christmas time, Amsterdam and Spain and everything, prime time. When you go around, you have to have players good players. Anybody who says they feel that they're one of the top coaches, and they don't give credit to the players, they're lying.
Right.
I never got a rebound.
Right.
I never made an assist.
Right.
I didn't even foul anybody.
But your genius was putting that team together.
But that was my job.
Yeah.
That was my job. And I never looked for sponsorship. I was fortunate in that I owned the
you
pharmacy.
took care of that yourself.
Yeah.
You were your own sponsor?
All the time. Oh, yeah.
All
All
right.
the time. Because when people put money into your team as a sponsor, they want to put players on your team.
Right.
I couldn't have that. But I was, like I said,
I got asked, man.
drugstore.
I got asked, right?
I owned
All
the
right.
drugstore, so
You
I
had
was
a
good.
good team in the 70s with them.
Fly,
Right.
Jocko.
Then the
World,
80s, you had a nice
Hawkins,
team.
Jeff Houston, all that.
But
yes.
I experienced you in the 90s,
Yes, you
mostly.
Yes.
That team to me was the best team I ever played for, man.
Well, Kevin, I got to agree with you on that too.
Yeah.
Jocko and Fly and World and all, they came along a little too soon in life.
Okay.
You know, I'd even have to say Oscar Robertson came along too soon in life.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest basketball player that you could ever find.
Yeah.
Along with others, along with Michael Jordan and you know, Magic Johnson and all, but LeBron James. But so you can't say who was the very best.
Right.
Because when you get to
Everybody was good at one point.
Exactly. And everybody played a different way.
Yeah.
The guys I had in the 70s, the World B. Freeze, the Jocko Jacksons, the Fly Williams, the Jeff Houstons, the Larry McNeils, you know, and on and on and on. They were the best in that era.
Okay.
But when you look at it, like I say, life goes in phases and cycles.
Move up to the mic, please.
And I'm lucky and fortunate to be part of 5 generations already.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah. Strong
from
team.
66 to now. They played a different way, but the game was mostly physical then.
Mhm.
Now
Right.
it's physical, but it's also a lot of skills, different skill levels, right? But when we in the 90s, prime time became a household name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prime time was.
Yeah, because
Prime time
we were
was-
winning so many games and so many tournaments everywhere, all around the area. I'm not gonna say I got bored, but I was inquisitive, and I was anxious to go and play against people outside of New York.
Right.
So
Right.
with Cecil Watkins, and they started the
Yeah,
National
remember
Pro-Am
Cecil
League.
Watkins?
Yeah, they started the National Pro-Am League. So they had teams and had leagues in like 20 cities. And if you win your city championship, your local champ, that qualifies you to go to the nationals. We we were lucky. We went to the nationals every year.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
represent New York
bro.
City.
Yeah. That,
Okay.
And we had battles with. But when we get out there, you know, some of us had a flair where we didn't come just to play basketball. We came with our 3-piece suits and our double-breasted, whatever.
Right.
And
Right.
and so Chicago and New York and Houston developed rivalries because they weren't Chicago wasn't going to stand back and let New York just walk in and get it, and
Right.
neither was Houston and the rest of them. But we felt that we weren't just the best in New York, we the best in
the nation.
That's the way I felt. And that's the way my team felt. You know?
Right.
And
right.
Zip codes didn't mean anything to me.
Got you. Got you.
And area codes didn't mean nothing to me. If you're in America, you're going to be second to James. And that's the way I felt. But that was just my attitude. That's why I said in the 60s, I couldn't keep playing with my brothers because they were good and they blood. But I gotta win. So, like Jocko used to say, Greg Jackson used to say, James will cut his mother from the team if he got somebody that can shoot better than her.
Yeah.
You know, and he was right. I didn't say it; he said it. But I agree.
Right.
But that's the way it was. You have to win. And
Right.
winning was the only thing for me.
Right.
But then so I recruited and players who could win.
Right.
For me.
Right.
Now, but they had to adhere to certain rules just like everybody else.
Right.
You can score 30, but you got to pass the ball to the open guy
Yeah,
because you first of all in the wintertime, you're in the NBA somewhere or
Right.
overseas. The other guys are still here.
Right.
Say like in the 90s, as Kevin Young can attest to, there were people like Tony Hargraves.
Shout out Tone.
Yeah.
DJ.
Dwayne Johnson.
Derek Canada.
That's right. Vernon Moore.
Speedy.
Vernon
Moore.
Pete Edwards. Marshall.
Elmer.
Webb, Kevin Young.
Kevin
Young.
Kev
boy.
Kev Young.
Terminator.
Yeah.
And we can go on and on.
They've got to mention Arizona.
Pearson, Darryl Pearson, was a quiet, I call him a quiet killer.
Right.
He wasn't going to score a whole lot of points. He had a medium range jump shot that was consistent, but he never got a chance to take the shots because let's face it, Elmer Anderson act was putting it up, you know. And then now, but see, again in that phase during that cycle, I had a great point guard. In fact, I had a couple of them.
Right.
Pete Edwards was that dude.
Yes, Pete Edwards.
Shout out Pete.
Shout out Pete Edwards.
And Pete was a winner. And he'll tell you to this day, what he cared most about was winning.
Yeah.
Now, was he arrogant?
Yes.
But was he tough?
Yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
He was tough.
And he would look at me from every now and then, just looking at the clock, just go getting a little tight. And I got people in there who not guarding people real tough. And he wouldn't say nothing. I knew what he was saying without saying it.
Right.
Fourth quarter.
Yo, James, get that motherfucker out the game. He ain't playing.
What you doing? You know, that kind of stuff. And he didn't. And now during the summer, I always had a problem with personnel. My problem wasn't not having enough players. My problem was having too many players.
Yeah.
Because during the summer, Mark Jackson was at every game.
Okay.
Ray Paulson played.
Okay.
Kenny Anderson played.
Okay.
Who do
Ross
you sit?
Strickland
Who the hell are you sitting?
Okay.
You know?
Exactly. Ross Strickland played.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, I
Mario,
remember players from the NBA. I was going to ask you that, but you just naming, you're naming some of the top guards in the NBA.
Mario played. And then they would only give you 12 uniforms. And so what I had to do, I had to put prime time in 4 different leagues in the summer.
Yes, you did. Yep.
So that I could have 6 guys go over here, 4 go over here, 3 go over there, and 2. I could send Anthony Mason and Pete Edwards to a game, just the 2 of them, with 4 players who really may not have been so
and getting the chip in every tournament.
They still win. Now, what happened? I dreaded for years, Kevin, Raheem, and Tony. I dreaded the end of August because the end of August, all the playoffs.
All the playoffs.
Now I'm back the way I started off in May, with the numbers again.
Right,
so I got to play the puzzle game. And everybody looking at me like, who you gonna put in, who you gonna start, and all that. Now you can't turn your back on the Elmer Andersons of the world, the Pete Edwards of the world, the Kevin Youngs of the world, the Dwayne Johnsons of the world, because Vernon Moores of the world, because they were there, Eric Wilcoxes of the world, because they were there all during the winter. What Pete Edwards would do, Pete would tell me, "Yo, Rhino." That's a nickname that I don't know who gave it that. I know who gave it to me. But anyway, Rhino, I don't care. I sit. Pete Edwards volunteered. And Vernon Moore was also like that. They would be willing to sit and let Mark Jackson and Rafe and all them start because they know they were NBA players, present day NBA players, and all that, and on television every week. And they wasn't scrubs in the NBA. They were starters in the NBA. So we give credit to the NBA at that time. Today's world, nah.
But you know that team, the team you had, I mean, who the hell you crying for? You know, like, all right, he's starting instead of you. Like, all right, you know you're gonna get in. So what you crying about?
Exactly.
You know, so that's how I took it anyway. Like you sat me a couple of times. I don't want to talk about why, but you know,
but
you sat me. But who you had in there, I didn't care. Like one time you started Derek Canada. I was with you the whole damn summer. You pissed me off. But you started Derek Canada.
It's coming out.
But I didn't mind. Because Derek was doing the same shit I was doing. I started cheering for his ass.
Exactly.
My man Derek Canada.
Yes, he is. Right over there in New Jersey right now, you know?
But it wasn't that atmosphere neither. One person brought it, but we got rid of that atmosphere real quick
And we
with
know-
Dave Edwards.
Yeah.
Dave Edwards joined the team late 90s, yo.
Yes.
Word.
Yeah.
I never knew he played for
Oh
you.
yeah.
I never knew.
And we won the championship over there
Yes,
too.
we did.
won
And
that
he
championship too.
orchestrated
And
that whole shit.
Yes, we did.
Yep.
Dave Edwards came out of Texas A&M because he had
Yeah.
left Georgetown. And
Yeah,
gone.
rest in peace, Dave
Yes,
Evans.
yes, and he came in, but Dave played with us different than the way he was playing with other local teams. He was a point guard
That was the
and was
beauty
playing
of Dave.
defense. He showed
Yep.
that he was playing
Yeah. He
defense.
played
I mean,
defense.
and I
yo.
think
locking people up in the Pro-Am
yeah.
league.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Yes,
he did,
was.
and passed the ball to the guys who he knew should have the
Yeah,
ball on
yeah.
offense, and never complained, and was cheering for people when he was on the bench. Now we went out to Las Vegas and we won the national championship with Dave Evans as our point guard.
Okay.
Also, because Kevin was referring to the local Nike
Yeah.
leagues and everything,
Right,
Nike
right.
Pro City and everything, Nike Pro City leagues,
Yeah.
which we won. But then we went to Las Vegas, we won there too. Now, Las Vegas, they're open 24/7, and they have all gambling out there. So my thing was to keep certain people in the rooms a little bit, so they could so they could be rested and play the next day. you know?
Right.
And that was a trivial thing. That was a
hard
situation.
thing to do.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a situation.
yeah.
So,
But
I'm a grown ass man. What are you talking about?
so rest in peace to Anthony Mason.
yes,
When I first saw Anthony Mason playing, I thought he was a good big man, right?
yes,
But then when he started playing with you, I think him playing with you helped him in the NBA. You know, because he was playing on a team with all of these, great guards that
Yes.
you're mentioning.
yes.
You know, and
Yes.
then he became
The ball
something
handler.
new
He was a
in the NBA, a point forward.
Yes. Let me expound on that a quick minute if I can. When I met Anthony Mason, he was in the 6th grade. Right?
Okay.
He just moved to New York from Miami or wherever, and he moved
A
over to
skinny
New
little
Jersey,
kid,
and
right?
came in here. And we called him Goose. We called him Goose because he was a big clown.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
He didn't take anything serious. He was a pretty good baseball player, being a left-hander, being left-handed.
Yeah, that was
being
his
left-handed.
first. Yeah,
Yes, he could pitch. He
Yeah.
could really pitch. But he didn't even take that serious. Coach had a hard time at Springfield Gardens High School trying to get him to play on the basketball team. He didn't really play until about the junior year.
didn't he get a scholarship to Tennessee,
Tennessee State.
with
Yeah.
the baseball though, right?
No, it was
It
basketball.
was the basketball?
It was
Okay.
combined. Tennessee State is a Division I school, so they gave him a combined athletic scholarship, baseball and basketball.
Mm.
And they didn't know which way it was going to be. Mason had pretty good grades in school,
Yeah,
but he didn't have, and what those days they had to call a core curriculum. You have to have a certain GPA, grade point average, in the core classes, the English and all of that.
yeah.
He was missing some scores, credible scores, and a couple of core classes. So he wasn't really refined at that time. 2 years later,
He wasn't refined when he came home.
yeah, but see, I'm gonna see Kevin can find words better than me. I have to keep it halfway real. But Anthony Mason, what I did when Mason came out of Tennessee State, the Portland Trailblazers drafted him. In those years, there were more than two rounds. It
Right.
was like still 6 rounds, and so he went, I think, 4th or 5th or something like that. And they didn't keep him, so he ended up going overseas and whatever. But he didn't make it. So I bought in 1991. I bought the Long Island Surf, the USBL team.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I bought the team so that Mason could play and get seen by the NBA, by the scouts.
Okay.
And he and the coach played him, and he played him at a position where he could have the ball in his hand.
Okay.
He wasn't a great shooter, and he wouldn't practice.
Okay.
He wouldn't practice shots. He'll practice. He'll stay in shape and dribble. He didn't want to shoot. But you can't make the NBA if you can't at least shoot a 10-footer. And
Right.
Pat Riley had just gotten the Knicks job that year, 91. He was looking to change the personnel of the team. And he and I had some heated conversations. We might have even had a shoving match.
Who, you and Pat Riley?
No, Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know Pat Riley at that time.
Okay. Okay.
Not personally, anyway. So Mason and I had our little, little argument, you might call it. But he was going to practice whether he liked it or not. After we practiced, the Long Island Strike, when we practiced, after the practice, I'm keeping him there. And I got a shooting coach.
Okay.
I hired a shooting coach to work with him in shooting. He didn't want to do it.
Wow.
He had to get practice over. Mason was he was Anthony Mason even then, but he ended up doing it. And the scouts kept coming out to watch him play. Finally, Pat Riley okayed it for him to come to the Knicks camp.
Okay.
And we were undefeated. We were like 23-0 or 24-0 in the USBL. And Pat Riley agreed to let the scout bring him to camp. And we got into the playoffs and we lost the championship. We got to the championship despite it, but we lost, right? But I was more happy for him still because that was the purpose of it. If you're not trying to be the best.
So that was deeper than I thought.
I know. People, one thing you don't do, if you're having some success on the basketball court, the football field, the tennis court, in the dance club, Studio 54 and all that. I've done it all. I admit that. But you don't talk about it. You just do it.
Right.
And players recognize if you care about them.
Okay.
Players also recognize if you
Right.
And so you got to find a way to blend all these great talents into one team. And now when you got so many great talents and you only got 12 spots on a team, and you got to have 4 teams. So you got to split them all up. And the fact that one thing that Kevin said is in the 90s, how prime time just became a Armageddon in a way.
Right.
We just barnstormed the whole country.
Yeah, man. Sometimes we walk into the gym and the team was already beat.
They were beaten before we even.
Yeah, man. They just look down there and be like, damn.
They in fact, the word became all around everywhere that, well, look, we're gonna get second place. We got to at least get second place. And they haven't played a game yet. They were talking about they're gonna get second place,
Right.
So they've given up, as Kevin said before it started. But not that they
who's who's Jazz Mel?
That's probably my nephew, Jasmine Ryan.
Yeah, because he's talking about Saturday mornings at BRC. I remember them Sunday. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
My man.
Yeah, that's my nephew. Jasmine Ryan, my sister.
And then he said, JB is saying, talk to him, Uncle.
He's Jasmine Ryan was named after me. My sister named after me.
Okay.
JB is James. He was named after me too. He was living in Roosevelt at the time when I first moved. My sister named him after me too. He lives in Richmond, Virginia now. And next year we're going to be in Richmond, Virginia with the Ryan's barbecue. Jasmine had a barbecue last weekend in Atlanta, and JB going to have one next time. I couldn't go to Atlanta because I can't fly right now. I have blood clots, and I can't get on a plane. And they won't let me sit on a car or a bus.
Not too long.
Yeah, I can't do that. So by next year,
JB,
I'm coming to Richmond, homie, because that's only 4 or 5 hours. So I can come to Richmond, like that. But those are my nephews. They were young kids at the time, and they liked. Like who doesn't? Everybody liked basketball, and in fact, they played. Jasmine played at the school where Pete Evans played. Thomas Edison. He played.
He played at Edison too.
And then he went up to a junior college up in Albany, Jasmine, and played up near Albany. He played there for 2 years. He didn't go past that. But he got a heck of a nice job, man, in the electrical field right now.
Shout out, Jazz.
So
Okay.
Born
ruler in the building.
There is no basketball. There is no church. There is no comedy without Richard Hogan. We might call him Born. And I'm glad his brother's not with him because Robert Hogan.
Oh, they was here last week, right?
And even by watching them, because Raheem had told me they would be on, and I said, I hope they don't get into a fight while he's sitting here. and Raheem would tell you that's exactly what I said to him. Man, you got to sit them a little bit different from each other. Because God bless the dead. and all that. But their mother's not here to sit between them,
Mm.
you know. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to hold themselves down, you know,
Okay.
because Robert is different.
Okay.
He always has been, you know,
Okay.
and he ain't changed. He's still right. But so basketball actually gave me a platform where if you good enough or fortunate enough or determined enough, you can make that, build that, use that platform to propel yourself to another level. We did that.
Okay.
I'd say we.
Man,
did
that type shit happened in games.
So you went from
USBL, we won
Right.
championships there.
just so
Mason
you went from street ball to pro USBL,
yes.
right? And then you became a scout with the Knicks.
And that became because what I was doing for Anthony Mason by buying the team and having him play so he can be seen enough. We happened to beat teams that had some NBA recently released NBA players on Miami, the team from Miami, team from Texas, the team from Atlanta, and all that. So my Long Island Surf, we ended up beating them. Darryl Dawkins was coaching the team in Pennsylvania. So there were a lot of names, NBA players and former players that were coaches. So when we beat them, so they came to watch Anthony Mason and Michael Curry, who was my godson from Augusta, Georgia. And they came to watch them. But then we win. So now they got maybe the coach might be okay too, you know?
Right.
So
right.
now, but that's not the way I really got the interview because we won at the time.
So we good. All right. Welcome to the AMS show. Who on the line? Yo, what's up, Cox? What's up, Cox? How you doing, man? Yeah. And shout out, James. All right.
Yeah. We doing. I'm still here, man. Still here. That's all I can say, you know. Well, as Pete Evans used to say, dancing Harry. Eric Wilcox was dancing with the ball a lot sometimes, but he was setting up himself on to set up a move. And he and Pete were like this. They were boys. And Pete would say, I'm out here open and you out here dancing with the ball.
Damn ball.
Do something with it or give it to me, that kind of thing. But like we said, Pete was arrogant, you know, and he still is. You know? And some things don't change. I think I saw Kevin. Some things don't change. Last December, I recently out of the hospital at the time, and Glenn McMillan had his old leagues.
Okay, all right, Cox, man. Thanks for calling, man.
Okay, I went out to the games, and even in 2024, Kevin Young was still dunking the ball. Now, what? He could only do it one time, though, you know, and then quit, you know. But he told us before the game started, he let everybody know, I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes, man. After that, I'm out of here. Sure enough, after 5 minutes, he got on the floor and crawled to the sideline. That was one of the funniest things I've seen in my life. He was true to his word. He made his good plays, the little free throw line jump shot, went to try to dunk it one time, and then quit while he was ahead. So Pete Evans is going to be Pete Evans. Kevin Young is going to be Kevin Young. Anthony Mason, if he was alive, he would still be rambunctious, tough, and a loudmouth, because that's who he was.
Yeah, I just felt honored, man. To be honest with you, James, I felt honored to be on that team, man.
Well, you earned that. You see, the NBA was the place to be. It still is because of the money. Now it's still the place to be, but the NBA stereotypes people.
Right.
Major college basketball, Division I basketball. Sam Worthing to this day should still be coaching Division I like he did at Iona College and everything.
Right.
He should be coaching like he did for a short while.
And the
CBA and everything. But the NBA stereotypes. It's a money-making operation. It was $1 million operation. the teams were worth millions. Now every team is worth billions of dollars.
Right.
And they claim they seem to feel that they justify and give validity to the teams and to the league. They have to have some certain people coaching the teams and general managing the teams,
certain faces,
and owning the teams.
Yeah. Right.
See,
right.
So we're not getting our due.
Got you.
Our due processes, right?
Got
so, and that's the way it's going to be, because it's not really just basketball. It's commercialism. It's money, 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 and that's that's what America is.
Right.
That's what the world is.
Right.
And we're not going to get into that. And if we invite us back, we could talk about politics another time. But
James, you got open invitation here, bro.
I got a question. Run the world. Who do you consider your rival as far as coaching and
Still be the great on the check-in? Mike Vaughn's on the check-in.
I have to be where you want me to be honest, and I will be.
Yeah.
I never compete,
because I'm thinking Sid from Brooklyn and United Brooklyn.
And Doug's crew.
Yeah.
And Brew Crew wasn't bad either, of course.
Okay.
Buster had players.
Buster, okay.
It was a short time for him.
Okay.
It wasn't a long time. He was a short time, but he was entertaining.
Okay.
And he had players, Jeff Kimbrough and all of those, and Lil June and all that, who came out there and they came to play. Now, but usually after the first half, the third quarter, we played Anthony Mason a little bit more. Played Mark Jackson a little bit more. And Pete Evans was sitting there waiting just in case, all the time, because Pete was going to turn it up. If in the fourth quarter, Pete was going to cross over on you. He's going to beat you up from end to end on defense. He's going to frown at you and talk, to you, and we're going to win the game. So I had the luxury.
And then all of a sudden, everybody look at each other like, you ready?
You ready? That's right. I mean, the team could do that. Our team could do that. So I never...
TNP.
Oh, yeah. Yo, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Can do, like we say, he's gone now. He's not here now. But can do, and that defensive team that he had, my goodness, man, they were there all the time. They were there every game, And he took a few years before he ever managed to beat me. But when he did, it took him some years, and he was so proud and happy because he said,
rest in peace.
Yes, right.
Rest in peace, Ken Do.
Yes, he did. He was definitely a competitor. And let's face it, dog don't know but one way to live.
Right.
Right. His man, his man.
Right.
Dog only know one way to live.
Right.
Lil Raheem, Lil Ra, only know one way to coach, and that's to try to win.
Right.
And I have to be proud that these guys wanted to beat me and to be me, so that kept me going, But I don't compete with other people.
Okay.
I gotta.
So that's the answer to the Cav question.
Well, yeah, that's what I was answering this question. I don't compete with other people.
So let Vaughn say something. Tell you.
I just had to be here, brother. I was in the house watching. I said I had to support James, and then I seen him come on. I just never knew he had the health situation, but he'll tell you, always check on him every 3 months. I want to tell everybody out there that this man took a baseball player and made a baseball player a basketball player. One day they had short players, and they took me out to the Jersey Shore League. And I was guarding Kevin Williams at the time.
The Ron Nelson League.
They said, who's the fat point guard? They was calling me the fat point guard. I wasn't a basketball player, but James just, go in there. But Jay saved my life because there's a man named Mark Pettis. What's his Pettis? What's his name? Mike Pettis. And we was playing D one day. I said, I don't care how big he is. I grabbed the ball. Man, that man got mad at me. James had to save my life, man. Mike Pettis was like 6'11", 6'12". His hands was like a monster hand. I said, James, you got to save my life real quick. But
Mike Pettis from Rochdale. God bless the dead.
Yes.
Okay.
He died. He died back here in January. He died right around his birthday. Yeah, but he had real. His liver and his kidneys were gone. He was going to dialysis like 5 days a week. 5 days a week.
Wow.
And let me just say this one day.
Sure.
Everybody, I was always a good kid. The first time I grew up in the hood and everything. But the first time I almost got shot was I was hanging out with James at a basketball game in Brooklyn, Stir City. I was like, I didn't come for this. Praise God. But I remember we were in the park. He was in Basie Park with me, had a bunch of the Supreme team watching the game, and James bust my mouth. And they was like, yo, who that? I said, yo, he with me. He good. And you don't want that because he's on the other end. He was the smartest gangster. I'll call him an educated gangster. Like pharmaceutical degree. He got this, he got that. But I just want to say thank you for helping me because that game, he's like, get in there. I said, yo, James, I'm scared. One day we went to IS8 and I was scared to play. So somebody yelled in the crowd, yo, throw a cup of water on Barnes. And James said, go in the game, you got to go in the game, you got to do something. So I just thank God. Like I said, I was a baseball player and he helped me to be a baseball player. James, I just thank God for you. Your endeavor. I told my brother I wanted to be here. He's doing something with CCRB. He's convicted like 9 cops, so he's doing his job. And I just want to thank you. I had to be here, man. Come on back here. I just wanted to.
Well, thank you, thank you, Born. I remember the incident in East Orange, New Jersey. The Ron Nelson League was the top league, along with the Nike Pro City.
Right.
Ron Nelson League was the top leagues in the whole country at the time, and like I said, I ended up having teams. 4 teams. I had put teams in all these different. So so I had all these teams going everywhere, and so Anthony Mason and all the other guys are going somewhere else. And so Bourne went with me. He rolled with me, and I didn't tell him he gonna have to start at the point guard because I didn't want him to be too nervous about it. But once we got there, and he saw we only had 5 players. Now he started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He looking at me. I said, "Yo, you start the point, man. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead." His heart was fluttering and everything. But he went in there and he surprised himself.
Right.
He surprised himself, but because he didn't have a time to think about it.
Right. Right.
He had to go out there and play. And we were playing against Tate George. And all these guys from UConn, Tate George at that time, had gotten drafted.
Right,
that's who he was head to head with.
Okay.
Right? And he was like
Anthony Avent.
Anthony Avent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was their team. Eric Murdoch.
Yep.
That was
Eric
their
Murdoch.
team.
Okay.
And he got in there and did. Now, by the second half, a Bourne might say it. I'll say it also. We were lucky that Anthony Mason finished that 1 o'clock game where they were, and they got there for the second half. And I didn't have to ask Bourne.
You didn't have to
I didn't have to ask Bourne. Look, man, I'm gonna start this guy. He was come on, good in there. He's done his thing already, and he made a tape about that. A cassette about that all day, and played it for me one time. So he had his number, but see, he saved me that day because I could have got somebody else to be the fifth player, fifth player, and keep him forfeiting. But would they have reacted with the same way that he did?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
So he saved me.
Yeah. You didn't take everybody.
No,
he didn't pick everybody from the hood to come out there.
So James, because this went so quick, and like I said, and I'm sure Kevin and Shy would agree, Tiny or everybody agree, open invitation. So we're talking about that. We've been talking.
I'll tell you, I will say right now, first of all, I feel honored. I feel honored to be here. That's first of all. Secondly, it's a privilege when people like you. That's a privilege when people like you. Yeah. You may earn it, or you might get lucky, or whatever.
Right.
But if people like you and treat you right, you're good. So you give me a date. Okay. And I would love to come back here and have Bourne over here. I don't know if I want Robert over here. But Bourne can sit to my right, and I can sit to his left, And I
think it's just respect too.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect. Like I said, I was talking to my man Gene earlier, and that's when I said that he said that he was surprised that we didn't ask you to come when we first started.
Prior,
because we did have Glenn. We did have Glenn come on from the onset. And then so he was surprised.
And you should have.
Right. So before we go, we only got 5 minutes, and it always go fast when you're having fun. Our last 2 shows went in like 10 minutes. We had Born and Understanding last week.
I was listening,
and now we have you. So the shows go quick. The shows go quick. But before you go, like words of encouragement for anybody that's watching. Anybody that's watching any subject, just life. If you could give words of encouragement to people.
Well, yes. Life, as I mentioned earlier, as I indicated earlier, life goes in phases and cycles for every human being. It's up to every person, every human being, to make their phases last longer and their cycles keep going around. See, because you can't stop and you can't ever stop and give up because you think that you're in a position where you can't get out of it. God, Allah doesn't want that.
Okay.
That's not what we're about.
All right.
So my thing to everyone is to keep going. I was born a very poor person financially.
You said South Carolina, right?
South Carolina.
Hell yeah, ain't nothing there now.
No. And
imagine it in the 30s.
Well, Kevin enumerated it. Kevin put numbers on it. Yes, I'm 79. I'm 79 years old now.
Well, I didn't say your age, man.
But you said the 30s. You were making me 80s. But I'm 79 years old. I was born in a wooden shack back in the woods by my midwife. Okay. And in Aiken County, South Carolina, not even in the city. And we didn't have running water and all of that. My parents were sharecroppers. Right? Okay. So I came to New York out of high school on a Trailways bus.
Okay.
But I left out of here in a Rolls Royce.
My man, yo.
That's James. This is James
Ryan.
By
yourself? You came up here by yourself?
No. My mother and father and all my brothers, Leroy, Alan, my sisters, Ella.
Oh, okay, you're just packed up and something.
Yeah, they came up. I stayed an extra year to stay with my aunt because I had 1 year of high school left. And my sisters came and brothers, my whole family came. They went to John Adams High School and just let to finish. But I stayed there because I had 1 year left. And I was headed for valedictorian. And I wasn't.
There you go.
So I stayed there. Then I came up here.
All right, let's wrap it up.
James, man, we really appreciate you coming. And I'll be in touch with you soon.
Mike Barnes, I see your statement, man.
All right.
Top 5 cats to play at ISA in the 70s, he said. Mike Barnes.
Yeah, of course, Mike. Mike Barnes. What is it? He lives in North Carolina now. Yeah. Mike.
Yeah.
James Rapper Perez had tough crews with Brooklyn USA, ISA. Yeah, Brooklyn always, Brooklyn USA always thought they was tough.
and they were. They just couldn't beat the Road Runners. There was a lot of teams that were tough and were undefeated until they played the Road Runners.
Yeah, Brooklyn was always fun, man. Yeah, United Brooklyn, Brooklyn USA. They was always fun. The White Brothers.
Yep, and the Raps team, Perez. His name was Perez. Rap had the Brooklyn USA. They always had good players, Yeah. Charlie Bostic and all them.
Yeah,
Frank Irvin was good. He played with them.
Right.
Kenny Charles. They all had good things.
Kenny Charles. I worked with Kenny Charles for years.
Yeah. They were all good.
He was good when he was older.
Yeah. They just couldn't beat the Road.
Thank you.
I mean, everybody had to, bite the bullet at some time.
Yeah. But James, thanks again for coming, man.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun, a lot of interesting information that you shared with everybody. We didn't even get into the Globetrotters. The man was the coach and the GM for the Globetrotters. We didn't even get into that. So that's we'll start that with part 2. All right, we'll start that with part 2. All right. Thank y'all. Thank you everybody that tuned in. We appreciate y'all. All right. AMF Show.
Thank you, Born, for
Bars and Who. Thanks, Born, for coming through. All right. Shout out to the audience. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the AMF family. All right, or the coaches or the kids. All right. Shout out to the Ask You dancers. Peace, everybody.
Get it.
Wanna thank y'all for tuning in. Love y'all, tune in again. Like Steels be saying, tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in to the Legend Edition.
I'm singing for playing most supreme right here. 6 feet still can beat the whole damn dream team. With power, I devour any man in my way.